Hey, hello, beautiful collective. It is Satya back again with another message, another video. This is a continuation on the solar eclipse, new moon energy. I made a video yesterday, and I think I posted it up for public view already, but it was really talking about the connections that I found in these past readings that I've done, and in the Saturn's return, the lessons of Saturn, the full moon in Libra, and the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus. The overall message there was basically that we are moving through time, right? As we move through time, the planets and astral bodies, right, they shift and move as well. And these alignments are sending us messages that are trying to communicate to us that we need to build a foundation, build a structure, tangible, right, real world structures to to build on later in the future, right? And I think what that means for the alignments that are coming up, the cards that have been coming up, I'm interpreting this to mean, right, Saturn's karmic lessons as it moves through the zodiac, Pisces into Aquarius. It's asking us to start building a foundation of balance so that as it shifts through to the next zodiac sign, we can then build on a well-established, balanced foundation. And the new moon and the full moon in Libra was telling us that foundation needs to be centered around peace, harmony, harmony within our relationships with others, harmony within the relationship with ourselves. And this new moon solar eclipse in Aries is asking us to seek balance. As it moves into Taurus, as the moon moves into Taurus, that is talking about, again, taking practical steps, nurturing our work, balancing excess, overindulgence, and saving. So I did put that message out the other day, but I wanted to come back and really kind of go further into detail on some of the connections that I've been seeing in these readings, because I think it will really highlight the synchronicity and the urgency and importance for us to really look at these readings, look at these cards, absorb the message, and not take this opportunity for granted. So I've got a couple things laid out here that I'd like to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about planets, chakras, elements, healing stones, herbs, and I'll be talking a little bit about Taurus and that transition from Aries into Taurus. So I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I'm hoping it's not going to be very long, but you already know how it do over here. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So again, this is a general theme, right? This video, the message here is that we are being called by our future self to take the invitation, right? Become the initiate onto this journey, this very deep soul mission that is going to require us to step into the darkness, and with the help of our guides, right? People that we can learn from, and the lessons of Saturn, to walk through the darkness and step into our divinity go on our sacred journey, right? So that's the overall message. I want to kind of make some connections here between Artemis and Hecate as the moon goddess. So Artemis is the one of the moon goddesses. She is a symbol of balance. Artemis is fierce and hot-tempered, but she is also a healing, pure, virgin teacher. Hecate is the one who beckons. She illuminates darkness with her torches. That card actually came out in a reading that I did previously. So she beckons us to step into the darkness. And with her torches and her light, she reveals pathways. And those pathways are represented by her three faces there. The message that I am getting in these readings, the message that the cards are showing us here, is that we are really being called by Hecate to step onto the path. She is inviting us to accept a position of an initiate on this soul journey. She is inviting us to take the position of the fool. And she wants us to take the leap off of the cliff, right? She wants us to step away from this current cycle that we're in and move from closing, endings, things that are no longer serving us as Aries closes out, right? We're moving from the 29th degree and step into the new cycle of Taurus. From the first house of the self to the second house of resources. Artemis presents herself as an oracle, advising us that we do not have anything to fear, to move forward with courage and ferocity, to overcome obstacles, but also to have balance and tread lightly, to be sure-footed like the deer she holds, but have the ferocity to overcome any fears that we might have, like the lioness she holds in her other hand. So the message here, right, is get out there, take that step, but don't rush and stumble or fall, because, you know, if you move too fast, if you're too overconfident, you can fall into a trap, or you can miss an important directional sign. And I believe that is really embodied by the combination of Artemis and Hecate. Again, both of these oracles and goddesses together advise us that we don't have anything to fear within the dark, because we have wings to fly, we have the bravery of the lioness, we have the sure-footedness of the deer, and Hecate is inviting us. She would never invite us into something that we couldn't do or we couldn't overcome, but she is also lighting our way in the dark. There's also some symbology in the ram, goat, deer combination. So the goat came out in a previous reading along with Mirror and Gandalf and Hecate. So goats themselves are symbols of faith, right? Goats versus lambs in the Bible. They are symbolic of revelry, right? Pan is a goat, or a fawn, which is goatish. They are symbolic of sure-footedness, right? There are actual goats in Morocco who climb argan trees. So if you go online and you take a look at goats in trees, those goats climb up into the topmost branches to feed. So goats are, you know, that symbol of desire, aspiration. Goats are master mountain climbers. They're sure-footed. They're adept at taking the perfect next step. They're also they also have very excellent eyesight because their pupil, I think it's pupil, the little part on the inside is horizontal, they have 320-degree vision, and they're also excellent at night vision. So they can see obstacles before they come. They're able to jump over, outmaneuver any trap that might be laying before them. And because they're also very stubborn and determined, right? They are very capable at undertaking extreme feats to get where and what they want. So this goat, combined again with Artemis and Hecate, it's saying that we have the capability to see through the dark. We have the capability to overcome these obstacles. The ram, which is the symbol of Aries, Mars, is also a symbol of strength, breakthrough, and courage. Rams really embody action, but they also embody sacrifice, right? In the Bible and in religious stories, they sacrificed a ram to God. They sacrificed a ram to show thankfulness, to give thanks for a bountiful harvest or whatever it might be. So in that sense, they really do embody like this interdependence, this dance between life and death. They are a symbol of duality, life, death, right? Life and fertility and birth, death, sacrifice, and renewal. And so that that goat ram combination is very, very prominent and obvious. Deers, Hecate's deer, Artemis's deer here is also a very sure-footed animal. They are symbols of innocence, purity, gentleness, sensitivity. It's a very, the doe-eyed look of love. It's a symbol of love, of regeneration, of instincts and spiritual enlightenment. So that combination, and again, like these were cards that I mean, you guys saw, if you go back and take a look at those videos, right? I didn't place those. I like to draw on camera so everyone can see, that I'm not pre-setting up a shuffle. And those cards were drawn. So I wanted to just, again, highlight that symbology that is coming together as we get through this new moon solar eclipse period. And I mentioned in one of the readings, the sword and the stone, which sort of, really got me thinking, and, spirit revealed this connection to me as well, is Merlin and Gandalf. So in the previous reading, it was Hecate, Mirror, Goat, and Gandalf. But in a reading I did before, the one that had all the swords, I pulled an oracle card, and it was an actual sword in a stone. And I said, wow, sword in the stone. Remember that movie, blah, 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 blah. And what came to be revealed to me was, right, that Merlin and Gandalf, Merlin signifying imagination and Gandalf signifying dedication. Merlin and Gandalf were both wizards that were extremely instrumental in the success of their respective kings, right? Gandalf helped Aragon become the king of, oh gosh, I forgot the name of what he became king of. And Merlin was responsible for helping Wart or Arthur become King Arthur. And Aragon and Arthur both were destined to become king. But at the earliest point in those movies, they either were not aware or were unwilling to take the journey, right? Our journey. King Arthur and Lord Aragon were destined to step out on a sacred journey. They were divinely aligned to become king of their respective kingdoms. But without the help of these two wizards, it would have never happened. So with Merlin attached to Arthur, Gandalf attached to Aragon, these two wizards showed great loyalty, great wisdom, and great insight, not only to the potential of Arthur and Aragon, but to their destiny. And so in the reading where Hecate, the mirror, and the goat were drawn, Gandalf was also drawn. And I think that speaks to our destined alignment on the sacred journey that Saturn, the full moon in Libra, and the new moon solar eclipse in Aries is telling us it is time, right? Rafiki says, it is time. So, taking that a step forward, one of our readings had a massive amount of swords. I mean, it was like sword after sword after sword. I think it was like the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Six of Swords. There were just swords all over. And what I thought was also really unique, and it was just another revelation, right? Was that both Arthur and Aragon fulfill a prophecy that had to do with a sword. They both carry a powerful sword. Arthur has Excalibur and Aragon has Anduril. Both of the swords needed to be restored, just as the individuals who were carrying the swords, right? The early kings needed to be restored to their divine aligned journey. And both of those swords, Excalibur and Anduril, could only be carried and wielded by those two individuals, because it was, right, in the movies, it was representative of their worthiness to be king. Lastly, both Arthur and Aragon, as mentored by Merlin and Gandalf, received divine blessings from a female spiritual or magical leader, right? Our female spiritual and magical oracles. Arthur receives a reforged Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake, whereas Aragon received a sheath to fit his sword from Lady Galadriel. And of course, I'm sure that, Tolkien used previous stories and history and mythology, to gain ideas for his story. But because Gandalf came up in our reading, the sword in the stone came up in another reading, this is just another synchronicity that we cannot deny. We cannot deny this. And the fact that Merlin and Arthur, Excalibur, and the Lady of the Lake mirrors so perfectly Gandalf, Aragon, Anduril, and Lady Galadriel, it's just undeniable that the cards, the messages, the planets are telling us we have support, right? We have mentors. We are being divinely guided to come forward and take this step. We may not know where we're going. We may not know what needs to be done, but we are being called by our oracles. And these oracles, right, are telling us that we're sure-footed. We have, the ability to do what needs to be done. We have the ferocity of a lion, of Aries, of the fire. And we are going to have a light in the dark. Our pathway, as we walk forward, will slowly be revealed. Now, moving on to these new moon oracle cards, which come from this deck. Sponsor me. This is really about I would say these cards really kind of reveal other details about the journey and about the message within that, right? Needing to find balance, what cycle needs to be closed out, and where we're moving forward in this new cycle. So to begin with is the Palace card. Now I did do a little detailed description of this particular card with the Palace, representing luxury, indulgence, the two trees representing the tree of life, our connection with God, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, our ability to just use our free will, the flowers there that are hanging off the trees as a representation of desire, passion, drive, lust. The woman there wearing a persimmon colored wig, which is the fruit of the gods. It's a luxury fruit. Her hair being bound by purple ribbons, purple being a symbol of royalty, regality, exuberance, luxury, money, wealth. And at the bottom of her hair are those green grapes, right? Grapes being the fruit of the vine, Jesus being the vine, us being the fruit. And her staring out at us boldly in the face, right? Challenging us to look her in the eye or to break gaze. So this palace really is a symbol of indulgence, showing off, right? Hedonistic pleasures, extremes, our tendency to exaggerate, overspending. And I believe that this is the cycle that needs to close out. You'll see down here at the bottom, not where my pinky is, but the other side, I just can't reach it. Boom, here we go. Right here, this is the degree at which it changes. 25.43 degrees in Aries to 8.34 degrees in Taurus. So this is a symbol of moving out of Aries into Taurus, moving away from indulgent Aries into Taurus, which is both indulgent but also thrifty. The Black Moon card here is symbolized by a seed that's in dormancy. So the Black Moon is a time to rest, right? The new moon is a time to rest, recharge, right there on the bottom, to kind of gain our footing. But because the new moon is in a fire sign, right, it will be in direct conflict. Fire is moving, action, urgency, go forward now. But the Black Moon is telling us to slow down, rest, recharge, wait just a moment. So while we have a Black Moon urging us to rest, based in the fire sign Aries, which is urging us towards action, there might be a bit of an up and down energy, a feeling of agitation, right? There might be a sense of needing to find balance, but having a level of difficulty actually achieving that. And I believe that is really, again, what the lesson is. If the palace is part way in Aries and part way in Taurus, it's saying there's a transition that needs to be made. Halfway, maybe not halfway, but part in here in Aries, active and unrest, part here in Taurus, wanting us to rest, and Artemis and Hecate saying step into this journey, right? The full moon in Libra urging us to find balance. I think this is really saying this is the challenge. This is the challenge. And Saturn steps in to say, are you ready? Can you do it? Put your money where your mouth is and show me. So, taking this kind of one step further, here we have Taurus, right? We're moving out of Aries into Taurus. And Taurus, of course, is symbolized by the bull, a very slow, kind of chill, but powerful animal that really don't want anything to do with you unless you step into its pen and start to antagonize it, right? The bull is symbolized by the word here, cultivate, holding still, growing roots, being practical, right? Here, you can see that it is, well, I'll do it like this. Taurus is symbolized, or not symbolized, Taurus is at home in the second house, which is the house of resources. Not only money, right? You see the gold coins down there, but also, right, in fertility in the land. There's the beautiful apple there. There's a flower, right? The arrow that is shot through the apple, and as opposed to having quills at the end or flowers, it's really about being direct, being strong, right? Having focus, being able to spot our target, and with the keen eyesight of the goat, being able to see our goal with the sure-footedness of the deer, the ram, and the goat, being able to get there and bullseye, hit that bullseye, right? Hit that bullseye right there. And as resources, right, in the second house, this is about our relationship to resources, our relationship to what we own, what we give away, what we choose to save, our material world, the money, our career, our house, our home, all of those things, that our health, right? Our health, our time, our energy. How are we choosing to use our resources? And I think, again, the message is that we may have been out of balance, whether we're devoting too much time to things that are not productive, whether we're devoting too much time to relationships that are empty, whether we're giving ourselves physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally to people, places, things that are not right, that though we try to cultivate, though we try to grow roots, there's no practical return on our investment. And so I think my interpretation of this, right, is that these cards, these past readings, are telling us to move away from this imbalance. Take practical steps in the nature of Taurus, moving away from Aries into Taurus, right? Moving away from indulgence into practicality, and move away from these investments that were not being fruitful. Nurture your work. Nurture what it is that we know needs to be done, right? Slow and steady wins the race, which was another title of a video I did. And tend to our garden, right? Feed our soul. Be invested in the long game, because you don't plant a seed, water it, sunshine down on it, and tomorrow now you have crops, right? This is really about cultivation, tending the crops, nurturing our work, feeding our soul, examining what's been working, what hasn't been working, and really balancing between excess and saving, nurturing, luxury and stability. Venus is the symbol of love, beauty, lust, luxury, spending, right? Excess. Venus is sensuality. Venus is indulging in hedonistic pleasures, while Gaia is Mother Earth, right? Growing, tending, taking things slow, nurturing, bringing things inward, pouring work, pouring care into a project, putting in that hard work, because we know that it will then take some time, but it will grow. And so this excess versus saving, right? This overindulgence of the palace versus the hard work that we find in Taurus is really represented in Venus and Gaia. Venus, the planet, is the ruler of Taurus. Gaia is Mother Earth. So here is both sides of Taurus. Now Gaia also in this particular deck, in the Moon Oracle deck, she is symbolized as a goddess of Libra. Libra are the scales, balance. And like I couldn't make it up any better, right? Right here with these two oracles, also with these two oracles, right, is saying find a balance between excess and saving and being frugal, right? Be ferocious, but also be careful. Step into the darkness and take the leap, but know that each step you take, your pathway in the dark will get clearer and clearer. So I hope that this sort of explanation has just highlighted how synced up these messages have been. I really, really, really believe that it is the planets, the stars, the cards, really trying to tell us this is an important step and to take the leap. During this last part, I'm going to go over some resources that you might be interested in, whether it's, to do your own self-study, or whether it is to, you can go to a crystal shop or, a place where you find herbs or whatever. But these are some things that will help you along in this journey. They're each connected to the planets that we talked about. So we'll start with the first one, Venus. Venus is associated with the heart chakra. It is an earth element, so it's really about grounding, stabilizing. So if you need to focus sort of on your heart chakra, grounding would be really good for you to go outside, be in, nature. They say to, take your shoes off and step on the ground, but just really, get in touch with nature, and practice some sort of grounding ritual. You can go outside and stand in the dirt, in the water outside, on the grass, or, imagine yourself standing as a tree and your feet's really being rooted down into the earth, and your body is the trunk and your head, and if you choose, you can lift your arms up and your arms then become the branches and the leaves, and really imagine yourself embodying that. Some stones that are associated with Venus or the earth element are, of course, rose quartz. So if you like to use stones during meditation, rose quartz would be good. This is green aventurine and emerald. Mine is a raw emerald here. Can't really see how, oh, there it is. You can see how beautiful that is. So rose quartz, green aventurine, and emerald are really good. Herbs, fragrances, incense that you can use to further your meditation and further support you are yarrow, which is symbolic of harmony. Yarrow is that sort of fan kind of plant, small white flowers. In Texas, I see a lot on the side of the highway. Now, don't go out there and just start pulling your car over on the freeway and picking it up or anything, but if you can find yarrow, this will definitely help in finding some balance, some peace, some harmony. Hibiscus is another plant that you can use. Hibiscus is, of course, that beautiful red flower. Hummingbirds love that flower. I make a hibiscus tea. I get my little dried hibiscus from La Michoacana, which is a market, And they've got dried hibiscus flowers, all kinds of stuff. It's just like a little Mexican market. And you can make a delicious hibiscus tea, boil that. Then you can add orange. I add ginger. When it's done, take all of that stuff out, strain it, add a little bit of lime. I put some pineapple juice in there, chill it, and boom, it's delicious. Motherwort is another herb plant that you could use to help in that journey. It is symbolic of strength, right? Needing strength to really start this journey and continue along as we are called to seek balance. And rose, which is symbolic, of course, of love. So these are your Venus resources. There are a number of places where you can go to get crystals, to get herbs. So do whatever you can do, but that is Venus. Here is the Mars resources, right? So Venus is coming up, right? That's Taurus. Mars, we're currently in Mars, that's Aries. So Mars is associated with the navel chakra, which is really your, that energy, that vitality. The fire element, of course. So if you are attracted to using the fire element to support your journey, I would say finding some candle magic or candle manifestations. I have a candle manifestation that I do, so if you'd like that, I can, share that with you as well. The crystals that are associated with Mars or the navel chakra or fire are amber, which is just tree sap, and that, I don't know, I'll try to get as close as I can, but that little dark spot right there, that's actually a spider. It just looks like a black dot. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, you can kind of see it. You see it's like a little leg there at the top? It's a spider that was caught in there. So amber is a great gemstone or natural product to meditate with, and also is citrine. Oops, there it is. So you can see sort of like that white top and that yellow gold bottom. I have another piece of citrine that I have on a necklace, and I wear that not as often anymore. I'm really into using my black kyanite right now. And also moldavite. So moldavite is like a dark green, and it's really helpful for sort of, meditation. I think they say moldavite is like a space crystal or like space glass. I haven't really done any meditation with moldavite, but that is a Mars resource. And herbs, fragrance, incense that you can use for your Mars balance is cat claw, which is going to help with, purification, clearing things out, letting things go. Also, tobacco, which is a form, so not tobacco as in like go smoke a cigarette, right? But like the natural leaf tobacco. And I know that there are some smoke shops that do sell natural leaf tobacco. So whether you use it as a smudging, whether you inhale it, or whether you use it sort of as an offering, which is suggested down here as its key word, tobacco and Mars as a pairing might help you along in this new moon journey. Also, we've got milk thistle, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I see it all the time, but it's got like a purple top and sort of like prickly little leaves here. Sometimes they even include them in flower bouquets. So it is a symbol of like the peaceful warrior, right? The flower itself, very peaceful, purple colored, warrior, because if you reach down and pick it, right, you'll get stuck. So this peaceful warrior energy, balanced out by the moon, if you can see it there at the top, the moon and Mars. That symbol right there. And lastly, nettle. So nettle is also a stinging type plant, very heavily Mars influenced, and that keyword there is action. And so you can also, you can see here, right, like offering in tobacco, purification from the cat's claw, peaceful warrior, milk thistle, and action by the nettle. This is, right, this is a 4 cards that are speaking towards balance. Action, peaceful warrior, purification, offering. So those are your Mars-centered resources. Now with this being a new moon, of course we have some new moon resources. Your moon is connected to your sacral chakra, the area that's right below your navel. And of course I didn't mention, but your heart chakra, you know where your heart is, and that is really centered about like love, balance, connection. So your your sacral chakra is really about relationships and emotions. That's sensitivity, sensuality, and really expressing your needs. It is associated with the moon, which is, very much like a water element. It's about emotions, healing. And so if you work with water, or water is an element that you connect to, I would suggest like healing baths or spiritual baths. You can put different herbs in your bath and do, pour water over your head, over your body, over parts of, your chakra that you really need to work on, and really indulge in that. The stones that are good for the moon, of course, moonstone. I don't have a moonstone. If you guys know where to find one, buy me one. Send it to me. Just kidding. No, not kidding. If you want to, I'll totally accept it. But selenite, right? We talked about Selene as the moon goddess. So selenite is very good for clearing, purging, pulling negative energy out. And if you hit it just right with the light, you can sometimes catch a nice little rainbow effect. But also coral. So I don't know if you guys can see there, but this is agatized coral. So little pieces of coral are here, and nature caught them up and bound them together in this little stone. So coral is a great mineral to work with if you wanted to focus on that moon energy. And carnelian. Now this is a red stone also associated with like the root chakra and fire, but also good to work with in the energy of the moon, especially, right, if we are talking about the moon and the sun in that solar eclipse new moon energy. Some herbs, fragrance, incense that you guys can use to help along in this journey are dragon's blood, and this is really about, you can see, excuse me, you can see down here, the keyword is anima mundi, which is like the living world. And dragon's blood is also, you can get that in incense. I've got a little bit of dragon blood incense left myself. It smells really wonderful, very clearing, very helpful. For me, it's very calming, very soothing. I like to burn it in the morning. I burn it in my bathroom before I take a bath, especially if I'm going to take a spiritual bath. So see if you can find some of that and let me know how, that works for you. Sage is another moon energy, moon herb plant that you can use. Blessings, right? You use sage to clear out negative energy, negative vibes. I got my little sage right here. Look, it's even getting smaller, guys. Oh, I'm gonna burn it all the way down though. So sage would be a good sort of clearing, calming herb to use. Mugwort, which is good for psychic healing. I bought some mugwort and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like meditate with this. I put it like in a little satchel like this, and I tied it up and I did like a little blessing on it, blah, blah, blah. And I put it under my pillow and I had some crazy dreams. You know, I was like, dang. I mean, I wrote them down in my little journal here, and I'm slowly getting more clarity on them. Like but like the downloads I got off of some mugwort, boy, it was wild. But you know, this really is about psychic abilities, intuitive, connecting with the divine, right? And the moon is a heavenly body, right? It's a mother energy, it's a healing energy. So mugwort might be something that you would use if you want to kind of connect and develop your perception or intuition. And of course, chamomile brings inner peace. Everyone knows, bam, deer, the deer, y'all. What? Get out of here. Oh, and Wart, King Arthur, in the Disney movie, he met Merlin because he had to go chase after Kay's, his stepbrother or foster brother, his arrow. So Kay was shooting an arrow at a deer. He missed the mark, and he made Wart go get it. And here on the chamomile, we have a deer. Guys, pay attention. Synchronicities like this, especially, that is Spirit's sign to you that this is meaningful. It's important to pay attention. So I'm gonna go see if I can't find some chamomile and make some chamomile tea. I can probably boil it up and put it into my hibiscus tea. But everyone knows about chamomile tea. You can find it at stores. It's really, really popular. So go ahead and consider that for part of your new moon rituals. Lastly, we've got Saturn resources. So I'm going to be coming back to Saturn as often as is relevant, because Saturn is going to be in Pisces in between 2.5 to 3 years. It just moved into Pisces in March. So we've got a long time for it to be there. So focusing on Saturn, Saturn is connected to the root chakra right at the base of your spine. This chakra is about grounding, security, survival, taking care of yourself and others. But if you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot take care of others. And as we talked about with Taurus, it's about finding that balance, taking care of yourself, saving, being thrifty, being wise, but also when you do have to spend, whether that's time, energy, money, resources, whatever that might be, being mindful how you spend that. So that lines up very, very well with that root chakra. And also the element of the root chakra is earth, right? That secure survival, those resources that we need to be successful in life. Saturn, root chakra, that is an earth-based element, but also air-based. Saturn itself is root chakra, very earth-based, but Saturn is also, and that's connected to its Capricorn, but it's also connected to Libra, which is an air sign. So, and I believe it's a mutable planet. So the work that you could do with Saturn, right, is meditating, kind of focused visualization, thinking. That's that Libra air, and then that grounding and connecting with nature. That's the earth element. And the crystals or gemstones that work well with Saturn are a blue sapphire. I have a black sapphire. I'll get that out because I want to show every crystal I have. I've got tons of crystals, guys. Like this whole thing is full of crystals here, plus other ones. But this is a black sapphire. A blue sapphire is the stone for Saturn. But also an amethyst. I've got a beautiful root amethyst here. And I have another really beautiful amethyst here. There's the back of it, right? It came out of the ground. Oh, this is just a gray rock. Crack it open. Bam, baby. No, it's not. I'm an amethyst. Never know what's lurking inside. So an amethyst is something that you could work with, sapphire, and then sodalite and lapis lazuli. So this is sodalite. It's blue. It's got like, can't really see so well, but it's got like white little shookums through it, little lines, little inclusions, whatever. It looks very similar to lapis lazuli. The difference between that and sodalite is that lapis lazuli, of course, has those gold flecks. You can't really see it too much in here. But either way, sapphire, blue sapphire, amethyst, sodalite, lapis lazuli would be some of the stones that you could work with. And some of the herbs, fragrance, incense that you could work with are arnica, which represents the teacher, right? There's so many things in nature that have lessons for us. We just have to seek it and be open. Also, comfrey, which is about completion, right? And if you look very closely, you can see this green root, snake, whatever it is right there. You also find it on the card of the tarot of the world. It's that same green. Essentially, it is the snake that is eating its tail, the beginning that reaches the end. It's a symbol of completion, cycles closing, cycles beginning, which harkens back to that reading of the major arcana cards, the World, the Hermit, and the Hierophant. Then, of course, there is horsetail. Horsetail is a patience. It's symbolic of patience. Rest, rejuvenation, taking things slow, knowing what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, and doing it in divine timing. And cannabis, which is detachment, right? So cannabis helps people relax, helps people just kind of, slow things down a little bit. A number of wonderful opportunities to, again, take a moment and just slow things down. Whether you smoke cannabis, whether you do gummies, whether you do tinctures, right? Unfortunately, it's not legal in the United States or in some individual states. But the more medical research that happens, the more individuals that, step up and say, hey, I have PTSD, I have anxiety, I have depression, my child suffers from seizures, whatever. And, this herb, this plant has been helpful. Like, the more people that step up and say that, and the more that science can prove that, I think the closer we're going to get to seeing it legalized. And so that's one of the things that I'm really hoping for, is that some of these herbs, some of these plants, these crystals are going to help you and I and other people in our collective really find the balance, really find the support that they need to take the step off the cliff and into their sacred journey. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope this has been helpful. I really put so much time and energy into this video. I did so much research. I have been up for so long doing this, not only for myself, but for you, beautiful collective. So I hope this has been helpful. If you enjoyed this, if you found this helpful, I would love to hear from you. So please consider leaving a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one, all right? I am wishing you peace, love, and blessings. Thanks so much, collective. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.